Alright, so starting with the superficial thoracic muscles. Obviously our cat has been cut to look at the organs, but the muscle that would come across here is the pectoantebrachialis. And then starting with this little bit, if we lay that back down, got the xiphihumeralis down here, pectoralis minor, pectoralis major, with this being that pectoantebrachialis right here. But obviously we've chopped into ours a little. Next, we've got some of the abdominal muscles. With some of these being the serratus ventralis, this whole thing here. And then the scalenes are these muscles in here. These are the scalenes. The transverse castratum would come across here, but as with our pectoantebrachialis, it got snipped because we had to chop it open. And then there's also the muscle that goes all the way down here, the rectus abdominis. Next, we've got the superficial back and shoulder muscles. I didn't really want to chop into the cat anymore to risk messing him up. You can see him pretty well enough. You start here, you've got the clavotrapezius, and that connects to the clavobrachialis down here. The next trapezius over, the acromiotrapezius, and then you've got the spinotrapezius next to that. And then you've got the two deltoids in here. You've got the spinodeltoid, because it's next to the spinotrapezius, spinodeltoid, and then acromodeltoid. And then right above them, this little muscle right in here is the levator scapula ventralis. It's what pulls the scapula up. And then the muscles have all been chopped away here, but this bigger one on top, this here, will be the latimus dorsi. Alright, we've got the abdominal muscles here. This one way down here is the transverse abdominis, with this being the internal oblique. Ours didn't separate well, that is the external oblique. The two were there, it's just that we weren't able to really get them apart. Next are some of the deep thoracic muscles. So if this down here is this serratus ventralis, then this is the serratus dorsalis up here. And then you can kind of see our separations. You've got the intercostals, the external and the... Next, a couple more of the deep back and thoracic ones. So starting up here near the front, you've got the spinalis dorsi, obviously because it connects to the spine, with the longissimus dorsi running down this whole deep part here. Longissimus dorsi has three parts that are deeper in that you can't see because all this on top is that lumbodorsal fascia. And then another muscle here that's really hard to see in our cat as of right now would be around this area, right? But it's deeper. That is the multifidus spinae. The next three I want to talk about are the rhomboidiuses, and you can kind of see the three separated here when I pull it tight, but to point them out, we've got, starting at the front, the rhomboideus capitis, and then cervicus, and then thoracis. So that's front to back. Next is the couple of scapular muscles. So this one right here, that is the teres major. It links up to this cornerish right here. So here you have the spine, or the spinous process of the scapulus. This is suprascapularis, or supraspinatus, infraspinatus. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus on either side of this. And then underneath, this one underneath is the subspinatus muscle. Okay, so we're going to start with some of the arm muscles. The first one's going to be some of these really deep ones. So here's the subspinatus teres major. So the coracobrachialis is this one here that helps connect to the arm. And then there is the epitrocularis, which is down in this side. Next we've got the triceps out here. We've got this is the long head, this is the lateral head, and in between them down in here is the medial head. Getting into more of these arm muscles down here next. This snipped one up here, that would be the brachialis because it connects here. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. Those are going to be starting with this one, the brachioradialis. And then the next one is the extensor digitorum, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor digitorum communis, extensor digitorum lateralis. And then this last one is going to be extensor carpi ulnaris over here on the side. Also, we've got this muscle here. If I can pick it up a little. This one, it ends. It'll be easier. This one right here that ends short. This is the pronator teres. This is the pronator teres. The anconeus muscle is this little itty bitty thing back here. That's the anconeus muscle. It kind of anchors all these muscles to the. For the arm, we've got the flexors, which aren't as pronounced on my cat, but that's all right. We've got one here, and one that's kind of hard to see here. Starting on this side, this is the inner side. This is the flexor carpi radialis. This is the flexor digitorum superficialis. This is the flexor carpi ulnar. Moving on to the leg next, we've got the sartorius and gracilis. And if you put it back here, we've got the gluteus maximus is a little thing, and the gluteus medius is the bigger one. This leg muscle, it's this one that's starting at the tensor fascia lata, comes over this whole thing here. This big one in the back here is the biceps femoris, kind of like the bicep of the leg. These inner leg muscles are going to be difficult to see on our cat because it is a little butchered. But my finger here, this is where the psoas would be, with this being the psoas major, the minor being under it this side, and the iliacus being on this side, iliacus being on this side. Going down from the psoas, you would have the pectineus, then the adductor longus, and the adductor femoris, but obviously those are all kind of chopped to heck, and you can kind of see the divisions further back a little. But pectineus, adductor longus, adductor femoris. And the next thing down would be the semi-intendinous muscle, which is, I want to say this guy in here, little tendony, and the semi-membranous is the next one in the row. Excuse me, I said that backwards. The semi-membranous is this first one, and then it's the semi-intendinous. Semi-membranous, then semi-intendinous. Next, we've got these muscles here with this shinier looking one. That's the rectus femoris, the vastus lateralis, and then hiding between them, the vastus intermedius. On this inner side of the gastronymicus, did I call it the gracilis or the gastronymicus? This is the plantaris muscle in there. This little one on top is the peroneus longus. And next to it here is extensor digitorum longus. It's this one right here, just the edge right here. And then the one here that covers the tibia is the tibialis cranialis muscle. And lastly, because it did not record the audio for that part, these two connecting to the Achilles here, you got the gastronymica and the soleus. Those are the two that connect to this Achilles tendon. And that should be all of the muscles of our kitty cat.